over the SCBA bottle filling system. This one's by Raptor CFS. It's the Eagle Air breathing air system. Let's get right into it. If you're going to fill the SCBA bottles, you're going to focus on this side of the machine. If you want to fill the supply bottles for this machine, you're going to focus on primarily this side of the machine. That makes that real easy. So the first thing you want to check when you come to fill your bottles is the pressure on this gauge. If it's below 4,500 or if it's down to about 4,000 or thereabouts, you're not going to get your bottle all the way filled. And you're going to have to fill the supply bottles for the system either at the same time or fill them before filling your bottles. And we'll go over those supply bottles later. So this is above 5,000, we're good. And now we're going to put our bottles in. So I've gently lowered my bottle into here already. Fill it up a little bit. I'm going to fill 2 bottles today. And the 2 bottles I'm going to fill are also 2 different sizes. That's okay. You want to make sure that they both fill on their gauge. Make sure they're both at 4,500, or at least they're both at the same pressure. So we slide our bottle in, we attach our coupling, hand tight. Next thing to check is these 2 valves. Make sure that they are open. And don't just crank on them. These valves are sensitive, so they really don't need to be cranked. In fact, it's bad for you, for the valves, to crank them. They'll wear out. The next thing to check is going to be these 2 valves. Just make sure that they're closed. And then move back down to your bottles. What we're going to do with our bottles is just turn them on. It doesn't really matter which one you turn on first, but keep in mind that if you have a bottle that's very high on pressure, this one's at 4,000, and let's say this one was down at, say, 2,000 or 1,000, a lot of the pressure from this bottle is going to go into this one, and it's called equalizing, and they'll end up at the same pressure. You want to keep that in mind because this bottle, if you fill it too fast, it'll get very hot, and then it's going to lose pressure once you're done filling. So we'll go ahead and open this one. And you'll see this gauge went up. And it's reading 3,800, 3,900. Now when I open the next one, you're going to hear the air transfer between the 2. It's going to be filling this bottle. So I'll open the valve slowly. You'll also see this gauge start to go down. Once they equalize, go ahead and open your bottle the rest of the way. You shut your door. Now when you lift this handle up, the door should automatically come up. I find it best to give it a little bit of assistance. Also, when the door does come up all the way, you'll hear the machine, it'll make a sound of clunk, and that's the machine recognizing the door's shut, the safety device is in place, and we can go ahead and fill next. There was that sound. At this point, we're going to start the filling process. Stuff up here, ignore. This isn't part of this process for filling your SCBA bottles. You want to start, like I said, again at this pressure gauge. Get a reading. It's high enough that we can use it. The air from here, which is your supply bottles, is going to go through your regulator. You check your pressure here. If it's cranked way up at 5,000 or so, you're going to want to back that off. And the way this spins freely, and so the way it works is just push it in and turn it either direction. So we'll put that down at 4,500. From there we move down to the fill valve. Now I'll move the camera in closer so you can see there's a lot of confusion. How fast should I fill the bottle? Let's go over that right now. So what you're seeing here is your gauge telling you how much air is in your bottles. And what I'll do is I'll open this valve and I'll start to fill. And you'll see me adjust this valve a little bit as the pressure goes up. Because as the pressure increases, and it's flowing through the regulator, it tends to slow down the filling process when it starts to get close to the regulator setting. So in order to hurry up the process a little bit, I'll just open the valve a little bit more. During the fill process, you also want to keep an eye on your regulator setting. Just make sure you're going to fill to the right level. When this pressure equals the regulated pressure, you'll hear the regulator start to purge the overpressurized air, and it'll come in as a hissing sound. So let's go ahead and fill. Between each 100 psi, it's give or take about 5 seconds. Sometimes you'll hear the regulator purge the air. It's just slightly hissing right now, and sometimes you won't. But either way, just watch this pressure. When this gets to what you need, you can go ahead and shut this valve. And now we go back down to our bottles. Just pull the handle down and the door out, and then lift your bottle up and go ahead and close the valve. This is a good time to check your work. If you fill too fast, you'll have a very hot bottle. I did a good job. Now we're going to go ahead and vent these lines. And we have to vent these lines. It takes pressure off the system, which is healthy for the system, but it also, you may not be able to break these seals, and it's going to be loud if you do. So go ahead and vent, and you can vent as fast as you want, because that's not going to hurt anything. Always a good idea to close your vent afterwards. That way the next person coming in has a vent that's already shut. Go ahead and unscrew your fittings. And now you've got full SCBA bottles. What I'd like to cover next is filling only one SCBA bottle. The process is the same. Put your bottle in, put your fitting on. This is where it changes. This valve here, there's nothing on the end of the line, so go ahead and close it. Check your valves again up top. Make sure this guy is open, which it is. And let's see if I can open my bottle. There we go. Shut the door. Help it up. Listen for the sound. Again, we're going to check our pressure. We're at 5,000. Check our regulator pressure, 4,500, which meets up with the same pressure the bottle uses. Our fill valve, obviously it's shut already, and our vent is shut. We already checked it. So go ahead and fill. This bottle doesn't need much. That sound is the regulator purging that excess pressurized air. And it's perfectly fine to continue what you're doing with that hissing. Pull your bottle, shut your valve, vent your lines, and undo your coupling. And you've just filled a single SCBA bottle. The next thing I want to go over is how to fill the supply bottles in the back of this. There's two tall supply bottles back there, and they hold the pressure to fill your SCBA bottles. As I said before, you check this gauge back over here, the supply pressure gauge, to see if those bottles need to be filled or not. If you find your supply bottles need to be filled, it's a real simple process. I'm going to review it once real quick, and then I'll go ahead and do it. The machine's very loud, you won't be able to hear me talk, so let me go ahead and get started. Supply pressure is low. I'm going to open this top valve. It's right above the supply pressure, and it says storage refill. Then I'm going to come over here and push power on. It's best to have some ear protection in when you push this button. The machine starts off very loud, and then after about 20 seconds it gets a little bit quieter, but it's still very loud. After that, walk away. You don't have to be here to watch this. The whole system is going to take care of itself. These valves will all, these gauges will all fill up to their pressures. You'll hear the machine purge, but it's going to fill to a set pressure, which is around 5,500 psi. Once it reaches that pressure, it's going to go into a shutdown procedure. I think that takes about 2 minutes or so, and it'll shut itself off. So really, that's all you have to do. Open this valve, push this button, and walk away. Once you hear the machine shut off, or you come back a little later and the machine shut down, all you have to do is push the button, the power on button again, and turn your valve closed. And you're done. So let's go ahead and do that. My valve's open, push the button. Why? Because you're above 5,000, that's why. So let's go ahead and fill the system. Valve's open, ear protection's in, and push the button. Let's go ahead and fill the system. Valves open, ear protection in, and push the power on. So what's happened is the machine filled up, it's reached its final pressure, it's purged itself, and it's shut itself down in a way that's the most healthiest for the machine. It's programmed to do that. So now all I have to do is push the power button and turn the valve closed. And I'm reading about 5,500 over there. And that's it. One more thing I want to cover is this emergency stop. Don't use that to shut the machine down. If your machine's running and you need to leave early, or you can't be around to watch it shut off, just come by and hit the power on again. And the system will go through its shutdown procedure, and it'll shut itself off, and you don't have to worry about it. And if you have this valve open, it's probably a good idea just go ahead and shut that so that everything is back to the way it should be. This is truly for only emergencies. So something explodes, God forbid, you hear a huge rush of air, you have no idea where it's coming from, and the machine's running, and dust is flying and everything. Smack your emergency stop and get away from it. That's pretty much it, guys. For those of you curious, yes, there is a way to fill bottles from the compressor. But let's just stick with keeping the storage tanks full and filling from the storage tanks. Well, that's really all I have on this system. I hope you got something out of it. As always, stay safe out there.